Hi guys, this is Chris with the YouTube channel JustDIYChris, Just Do It Yourself Chris. Today I'm gonna show you and review Rachio 3 smart water system sprinkler controller. I'm not gonna do unboxing. Usually I don't do that. I just show you my hookup, show you how it works, because that's how I do it. So, few words about it first. It's a great unit. I was looking to replace my old Hunter Pro C series old sprinkler, which was manual. It was very weird. It was good, but it was manual, and my setup, my sprinkler control is in the basement, not in the garage like some people may have in the garage. So I had to go each time up and down to the basement to change the zone, do whatever work I do, change the head or whatever, go back, set it up, turn it off. It was just painful, a lot of working. I winterized the whole system by myself, so it was just horrible. And I had to make a change. I make a change how I winterize. Obviously I have to blow up the airline, but where I put it, I'll show you in a few minutes. So Rachio 3, yeah, smart. We're trying to be smart system controller. So overall, I like it. I bought it. It's an 8 zone. I bought it for Father's Day for myself. Yeah. So I paid, I don't remember how much, but you can check it out. But guess what? There was a $50 discount at that time. So I think I paid $180. Not $229 or whatever it is now, which is normal price for 8 zone. I bought it cheaper. It was Father's Day in 2020, a couple weeks ago, and right now we are in July 2020, and it was good. So what do you have inside? And I'm using one hand. So obviously you have instructions, how to connect. And you have the unit, which is normally sitting. I'm using my one hand. It's sitting right here. The instructions are okay. This is what you have inside. You have to connect. Wi-Fi setup is bad. Period. I don't care what people say. Maybe somebody that has a good experience. I had bad experience. I was so close to call them. It takes a good 30 minutes to try to figure out, and it's just a Wi-Fi. I mean, this is 21st century. Shouldn't we just connect to Wi-Fi quickly? My router, it's literally 10 feet away from the controller, and I couldn't connect to it. That was painful. I was so close to call them, but in the last second it actually worked. So just be careful with this unit. Connecting to Wi-Fi, pain. It's just weird. It's seeking, it can't find, it's just weird. But it's not a deal breaker. It basically shows you step 1. You take the picture of the wiring, you test the heads, make sure there's no leaks on your heads anywhere. You take the picture. Why picture? Because if you take the old wires, you want to know how to reconnect it. And then remove the controller. You basically follow the steps. This is very simple. Just remove the old one. Put the Rachio 3 on. You install it, step 3. Put a new one, and then you basically match the holes, and you just put it in. That was very easy. Actually, some of the holes, yeah, actually all 3 holes were matching. Pretty much matching. Yeah, matching. They were matching my old setup, so it was very easy. I just took it out and put it back on. So that was it. Step 4 was actually connect your wires, which I did. So you have to read through that, and I'm gonna show you later on how I have my wires set up. There's a little trick to it, which they don't tell you here, of course. So this is the problem area, and I'll tell you why, and I'll show you later on. See, that's all it says right here. When you're gonna connect a sensor, and I have 2 sensors. I have a flow sensor and I have a rain sensor. Rain sensor is connected to S1, and a flow sensor is connected to S2, but there's only one of each cable. This is a separate line, this is a separate line. Then another cable, because there are two cables for each, rain and flow, has to go to 24 VAC. And that's what it says here. Optional, connect. And yes, for more visual information, visit this. They don't tell you anything here. Bottom line is, this is the setup, this is how it looks like. So my flow meter is connected to S1 and minus. I'm sorry, my rain meter, S1 and minus. And my flow meter, it's S2 and minus. Not plus, minus. Again, rain goes S1 and minus. There are two cables. And the flow meter goes S2 and minus, not plus. And when I was reading this doesn't say that, right? Does it? And when you go to visit more, and I went, it didn't say that. I didn't find it. It was weird. So I connected to plus. And it was the rain meter, rain sensor was going crazy. It was giving me some crazy readings. It was activating and deactivating, flip-flopping, back and forth, activate, deactivate, activate, deactivate, 10 times in a minute or 20 times in a minute. And then I was getting notifications. It was just going crazy. I didn't know what's going on. I unplugged it. I couldn't get to the guys. I tried to call them, customer service. They finally called me back. They opened the ticket. I have to send pictures of my setup, and they didn't know. And then finally they called me back. And after a few minutes, they called me back and say, "Okay, your cables are wrong." But it took me like 2 days to go through all that. That's very important. Again, S1. It's a rain. It has to be rain and minus. And flow meter S2 and minus. I'm stressing that again and again and again and again and again. Not plus. Plus is left for wireless setup, which I am not gonna talk about here because I don't have it. That's not the purpose. Then you create your account. Then you connect to Wi-Fi, which is very painful. They don't say this is very painful. My router is 10 feet away and I couldn't connect. It's not because I didn't have a signal. I have a very good signal from 10 feet away. But this unit couldn't read for whatever reason. The line would go blue and yellow and then would stop. I have to reboot, reset. It wouldn't just do it, but then finally did it. So they don't tell you that. Then you have complete setup on the app. Yeah, congrats, you did it. Yeah, it's not, I mean, it's simple, but not that easy. It's not that obvious, so they could do a better job. But that's the baby right here. Overall, I've been using it for a month or so. I like it a lot. I can control my sprinkler system from anywhere on this planet as long as I have internet connection. Meaning, not even internet connection, as long as I have a signal to my cell phone. That's all I have to do. I recommend it. Thumbs up from me. I'm gonna show you my setup in the basement, the cables. And also we're gonna go outside, and I'm gonna talk more about it. So overall, great unit. Please like, subscribe, share, and put the notification bell on my YouTube channel so you can see more videos upcoming. Again, my videos show content, and I want to show you how I did it, what issues I had, and this is what I'm talking about, the wiring and whatnot. So that's pretty much it for this portion of the video. Okay, so these are manuals for a rain sensor, orbit, and Everydrop. So let's go over it really quick. There are some key components. This is the attachment to the gutter. There are 3 different attachments. This is the cable, this is the unit itself. this little section that I have an arrow here pointing to, this is basically when you can open and close for the faster drying of the bands that are inside. Those bands are getting wet through here, through the rain, and flowing inside, and they expand. By expanding, they basically trigger the sensor on or off. So when you open this or close it, you allow for a faster drying time. Because there's wind and air and sun, and basically those bands faster dry faster. So you can make this adjustment if you have a shaded area or sunny area, or you can close it or open. This attachment here, it's a part of the unit. It's basically allowing you to adjust anywhere between 1/4 of an inch to 1 inch. I'm sorry, 1/8 of an inch to 1 inch rain. So when, let's say I have set up to 1/2 inch, so if 1/2 inch of rain is going to be caught through the opening on top, the bands will start expanding and trigger the sensor on. And basically, if the rain sensor is on, that means all the schedules in the Rachio 3 will be off. And then if there's no rain, this will dry and turn the unit off, allowing for the Rachio schedules to continue, to resume. So basically that's how it looks like. I'm just going to be quick. I'm using one hand, so I apologize. Let me open it. Key components, installation instructions. You have this sensor includes 3 mounting options: 1/2 inch slip adapter, 1/2 inch threaded adapter, and the gutter attachment. So slip adapter, you basically, it's like a slip on the pipe. You can put it on, thread it, you can just thread it, and gutter, just attach it without puncturing. Or this has 2 options: either flat surface adapter, which is basically like edge of the gutter. When you clamp to it, basically hug it, and you have a butterfly screw to just adjust it and to catch it. Or you can just drill holes. I don't want to drill holes in my gutter. I don't want a gutter to leak unless for no reason. Just cable information, some other important things I highlighted here for you. So this is the adjustment and operation. Like I said, you have 1/8 of an inch, 1/4, 1/2 inch, 3/4 or 1 inch. I set up to 1/2 inch, and I also matched the same adjustment setup in my Rachio 3 app. So there's no issue who's gonna override who. It's just matching. The freeze sensor. Hold on, I'm trying to zoom in. This temperature at which the freeze sensor is activated, 32 degrees plus minus 2 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's not adjustable. So it's basically built in 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Rachio 3 comes in with the standard 32, which is the freezing temperature of water in Fahrenheit. So what I did, I just adjusted to 37 degrees Fahrenheit in my Rachio. So if there's a frost, if it's below 37, it will trigger basically, and it will skip all the schedules the same way. Bypassing sensor, this is how you mount it. Either flat by drilling holes. I don't want to drill holes. Or you can just remove this little portion. You can just remove this little portion, which is the flat surface, and have that U, upside down U bracket, and attach it to the gutter and clamp it. So you have different options, and thread, it goes on the bottom, slip and thread. This is the wiring diagram, but I already talked to you how you wire it, so just follow how I showed you, S1 and minus, basically. And then you have to activate it in the app. There's more wiring diagrams. Sensor basically is a switch. It's a switch that is installed before solenoid valves, and if the switch is off, then everything is working. If the switch is on, you cut this, and then solenoids will not kick in. So this is more look on the adjustment, the bracket. Okay, so this is all made out of PVC. And I think that's it on the instructions. And everything here is pretty much it. This other side is just Spanish. So this was orbit sensor. And I gave you the model number in the previous video. I'm sorry, this is Spanish portion. There you go. Sorry, I'm working with one hand. Okay. So that's one thing. The second thing is what I want to briefly talk to you about. It's the Everydrop model 1004EX. It's a 1-inch flow meter. This is how it looks like. It's a vortex flow meter. They have 2 wires. It's hardwired. It's a 1-inch pipe. The flow range is between half-inch to 30 gallons. I'm sorry, half to 30 gallons per minute flow. Some other ranges, but the most important ones: burst pipe pressure. So if you put too much pressure, it will just burst. 350 psi. The operating pressure is 32 to 140. So that's what it looks like. Second page. Inside you have important part here. Required specifications. The pipe must be fully. It has to be full for operation. Flows over 30 gallons per minute may shorten the life of the meter. So if you have a very high flow, obviously you're gonna have high usage of it. So so that's important. And then this is electrical specs and just a wiring diagram. The flow meter is right. I don't see it. And just a light setup. So I'm not sure. Okay. So I'm using Rachio. Rachio, it comes in, just pick up the model, and it will come up with all this. If you don't have Rachio, you have to do the offset. So the K value is 0.322, the offset is 0.2. So you have to manually enter that. So so this blue section, that's where it is. It's right here. You don't have to worry about the equation, but it asks you for a constant and an offset. So this is, if you don't use Rachio, this is what you have to consider. Okay. Here, next page. The important stuff: the pipe has to be full at all times, and I'm gonna show you what that means. You just use standard PVC, a primer and bond to connect everything. All right, so this is what it means, full flow. So this first diagram, it shows you where you can install it. You can install it before the bands, on the band, after the band, on this up and down, left and right. It doesn't matter. Vertical, horizontal. So it's all good as long as the pipe is full. And here I'm trying to zoom in. I can zoom in. But it's very small. You know what? I can't even zoom into this text. It's tiny. This is the pipe with the back pressure. What it says here, I'm going to read it to zone. Okay, it says here to zone water valve. So basically, if the pipe is full, it will work. As long as it is. It doesn't matter. Vertical, up, horizontal, and down. It doesn't matter. As long as the flow is flowing in the right direction on the unit, you don't put against it, then it's going to be fine. What you cannot do, and I cannot zoom into this little text, but I'm going to read it. It says here open pipe, and there's like a spout. Basically what it means is, if you have like a spout for whatever reason, you can install it too close, because the pipe will be full here and here, but if you get closer and closer, obviously the discharge will prevent from the pipe to be full, and the meter will not read correctly. So that's why you cannot install that. That's very important. I mean, in my case, I have this case, and I just installed it somewhere in the middle of that pipe run with the arrow pointing in the right direction, and you're good to go. So that's what it is. Very simple. And then also, before installing it, there's a little O-ring inside. Do not lose it. And some other basic stuff which I already talked about. So if the timer doesn't allow for the K factor, offset manually. So yes, this is all. If your unit, if you don't use Rachio, although this is not a video about it, if you don't use Rachio, you have to you're using some other controller, then you may be asked for a K factor and offset, which you have to enter manually, adjust it, and that's where you get it. It's off K, it's a K factor 0.322 and offset is 0.2. So you just manually enter it. Rachio 3, once you pick the unit and the model, which in this case model number is model 1004-EX, you're good to go. Everything is already pre-entered. So that's it. That's pretty much it on the manuals. Okay, so this is the Orbit 57069 sprinkle system hardwire rain and freeze sensor. It's hardwired. I paid $13.86 and it was free shipping on Amazon. I bought it on June 25th, 2020, as you can see. So it has very good reviews. I already installed it up on my roof, on my gutter, so I cannot show it to you, but this is what I bought. There's a section here that you basically adjust from 1/8 of an inch to 1 inch, and basically this is how much water. It will basically trigger the sensor on if you have that much water. So I set up to 1/2 inch, so if there's 1/2 inch of water, the sensor will go on and turn off my sprinkler controller. Rachio 3 doesn't need to have a rain sensor unit itself, this one. But sometimes I notice when I go on the weather channel, what happened was I go on the weather channel, it shows rain in my area, and I'm looking outside the window, there's no rain. So if the Rachio is using a sensor from multiple stations, that's good, like 300,000 stations or local station or whatever, that's perfect. But that's why I decided it wasn't a lot of money either. And to be honest, I want to just connected it. Basically, I noticed sometimes they're showing rain. There's no rain. There's just clouds. They think they're rain, but they're not rain. They may be high humid, but whatever. So this thing basically attaches to your gutter. They give you a couple different attachments, like PVC pipe, so you can put it here on the bottom, or you can take this off and clip it some other way. So I didn't want to drill any holes. I just basically use like a butterfly screw and basically attach it here to my gutter, 25 in the air. It's already there, so I'm not gonna climb up there. But basically that's what it is. It's $13 for whatever. Shipping came quickly. I got it on Amazon. So so the purpose of this basically is to know for sure that you have rain in your area, regardless of what the app is saying, because sometimes the weather maps, weather apps are showing rain, but it's actually no rain, and I'm afraid that it's gonna connect or not disconnect. So I put basically a hardwired unit to read exact. The only trick is, and I have to call Rachio guys because I had an issue with connecting cables. You have to connect it to S1 and minus. Set up this to 1/2 inch or whatever floats your boat, whatever you want. But whatever you set up here this is the manual setup, and the rain goes up here from this little plastic that sticks out. Whatever you set up here, it has to match your app. Otherwise, although it says in the app that this has a priority and it will override the app settings, but you can imagine it's just gonna go crazy. So I matched it. Also, if you read the manual for this unit, I will show you that it will disconnect, because this is the rain and freeze sensor. It will disconnect basically at 37 degrees, which is 5 degrees Fahrenheit above freezing. Rachio by itself has 0 degrees Fahrenheit set up to turn off your system, sprinkler system. So you want to match that too. If you go with a different unit, I know Rainbird has one, or Hunter has one. There are a whole bunch of them. I don't know how they set it up, but guys told me match the setting, read the instructions, and whatever is there, match it. So I set up again 1/2 inch for rain, and I put 1/2 inch in the app, and I had the freeze temperature. I didn't kept it at 32, which is freezing. I just matched this one, and this unit goes as little as 37. So I adjusted my thing. But come on, 37, 32. I don't believe we're winterizing. I mean, you have sprinkler system working in the summer. What are you gonna have a suddenly thrust 32 degrees? I highly doubt it. But it's useless. But not in July. Come on. But I matched that setting. So that's one thing I set it up. The second thing is, and I bought it on June 20th. It's about $100. I bought a flow meter. It's a 1-inch irrigation 2-wire flow meter by Everydrop Technologies. Comes in the way you see it. All right, come on and see it. It has, and I'll show you outside. It has total gallons and gallons flow all together. It has 2 unions here on the back, on each end, and it's ready to install. The only thing you have to make sure you have the flow going in the right direction. So that's why. Now, I am the kind of the guy when I like set up a system, I like to stay with the same brand. So right now we are in July 2020 doing coronavirus pandemic. I hope you guys are safe. We're home, we're working from home, so it's good. I hope you guys are safe also. But when I was reading reviews and went on websites, and I bought my Rachio, that was around Father's Day a month ago or so, I noticed a lot of guys did reviews for the flow meter, and then a year later the flow meter didn't survive winter. I guess either there was a leak or whatever, but guess what? The flow meter was disconnected, not because of the leaks, but I don't know why. The bottom line is Rachio doesn't offer flow meters anymore. There used to be a flow meter offered, and I would love to get it because I would like to match flow meter with that. But technically speaking, it doesn't matter as long as it works. I guess Everydrop has it down to the nitty-gritty, and they understand what needs to be done. That's why I bought this one. And I like it. And knowing that the other one would fail on me, I'll have to take it back, remove it. Yes, they will give me money back probably, but I'll have to go through the hassle. I don't want to do that. So this is what I bought, and this is what I installed. We're gonna go outside, and I'm gonna show you the setup, how it's set up. You just use PVC glue, clean it, primer, clean it, install it. 1 inch. It's great. I love it. I will show you on the app how it works, how it reads. So this is the part of the system. So I have Rachio 3 controller. I have Everydrop Technologies 1-inch flow meter. This is the one. And this unit, it's 1004. I'll show you that later on. It doesn't show here. I cannot actually go left because this is a screenshot. So I have it for my video when I talk about it, but that's the name. 1004. Everydrop Technologies flow meter irrigation. That's what it is. And like I said, this one I connected Orbit 57069 sprinkler system, hardwired rain and freeze sensor. It's both of the units are hardwired. This one was $100 and this one was $14, give and take. So that's what I also installed, and I'll show you outside and I'll also show you the app. So I'm gonna have multiple sections to this video, so I will stitch everything together and I'll show you in one final. That's it for this section. Okay, so we're in the basement. My Rachio 3 controller is in the basement, so some people might have it in the garage. It's easy to access, but I have it in the basement, so that's all the connections go through here, which may be easier because I'm closer to the pipes. and I show you what I did. So this is my Rachio 3 8 zone. This is the power outlet, and I was replacing with this. This is my old Hunter system. Just show you how it looks like inside. It's right now got it. There was the Hunter Pro C, and now it's replaced. Just put it here for a second. So like I said, I like Rachio a lot because I can control it basically from anywhere. I don't have to be near the house. It's an application, so it's using, I guess, cell phone towers to connect to it. I can use Wi-Fi or whatnot. So Wi-Fi was a little bit painful. Once connected, it's gonna lit up. The lid is pretty clever. What they did, they used magnets, so it's easy to take it off and put it down as such. It's just basically, I'm using one hand to record, but you have an idea. There you go. It's easier. That's very nice. I put a tape here. You don't see my serial number, model number, but basically this option here, it has a stop, pause, play, forward, back and forward. So this is how it works. Signal here if I want to recalibrate my Wi-Fi. As far as the cables, I didn't play with them yet. I just set it up like that for now. This is good, but I didn't make them pretty yet. Common, M, it's pump, and then you have zones, another common, and special, 1, 2, and then you have 24 volt minus and plus. Okay, what I want to show you here, I had to call Rachio guys because my wiring, I wasn't sure how to connect. I read the manual, but it was a little bit confusing for me, and I did it incorrectly, so it didn't work, but now it works. So I'm showing you how I connected it. So the problem here, then I didn't have any problem. From here to here, I connected it right away. It was very easy. I basically used the old system and I matched the cables, and I unplug it and plug it back. So that was easy. S1, which is my case, it's rain meter, has to go to minus, and then S2, which is my flow meter, one cable goes to this one, S2, and another one goes also to minus, not to plus. I connected to plus, and my flow meter, and it was going crazy, and then I was reading double basically the gallons I use, and then I didn't know what's wrong. Then I switched the cables around. My rain was rain meter was S2. It says right here rain, so I know it's a rain meter. And this is the flow meter. It has to go to minus, both of them. If it doesn't, it's not gonna work, period. The plus, the 24 VAC plus, it's for wireless setup. I don't have wireless, I have wired setup. So I'm just sharing with you guys so you know. The power goes here, of course. That's pretty much it here. It took me a little bit to figure this out. I had to call them. The instructions wasn't easy to understand and to follow, at least for me, and it took me a while, and at one point I disconnected it. Basically what happened is, if you connect the rain meter to plus, it's gonna activate, deactivate, flip-flop, and it did for me every minute. It did like 10 times. Can you imagine? So after 2 hours I had so many notifications, and it would go on and off, and it would just wasn't working right. So I had to play with the cables, but basically this is the final setup. Rain goes S1 and minus, and the flow meter goes to S2 and minus. That is very important. And so yeah, this is my setup. I like it a lot, and it's pretty good. All right, we're gonna go outside. I'm gonna show you what I have there. Yeah, I forgot to mention before we go outside. So obviously everybody has to winterize. At least I do my own work. So unless you have the system, you have the company rather than they winterize it for you. What I did was, before we go outside, since we're in the basement, I'll show you what I did. And I took advantage of the fact that my unit is in the basement. So what I did was I always have to go outside to winterize it. I have this is my unfinished basement, but I have a big husky compressor. These are the specs: 60 gallons, 13.4 CFM at 40 psi, 11.5 CFM per 90 psi, 3.7 horsepower, 150 psi. So it's a big boy husky. So I have this here, and I have a regulator and everything connected. But this video is not about that. But basically, I would have to take the hose and go outside, pull it all the way, and basically air blow it. Close the valve in here, and then extend the cable, unscrew screws, close it, and then go back and forth with my old Hunter, change between the zones. So I damaged a couple heads because my regulator didn't work right. You have to set up the right pressure. I think maximum pressure is 50 psi, so you have to regulate, basically adjust it. I didn't know. I was learning. I destroyed a couple heads. Basically they popped out. They were damaged. So that taught me one thing. I have to change something. It's a bit dusty here. I have to change something, and I did. And this is what I did. I will show you right now. So right here, I soldered. This is my water line. It goes basically. This is my old setup, so I didn't solder that. This was like that. It's my valve, and it goes to the water. Right. This is the water. That's a solenoid valve, and it goes out. And out, it's basically the sprinkler setup. And this is my Rachio right there. So what I did, what I want to show you is this bad boy. Hold on, I have a ladder. There you go. So what I did was, this is my soldering, this is my work. This is my soldering, yes. Look at this baby. Nice solder. Alright. So I'm gonna take the insulation for now. So I put a valve. I put a valve here. And I solder the splice and then thread to the coupler, to the blow up, to the air, and I double splice this guy. It's basically air plug. So now what I can do is, all I have to do is, I'll close this valve, open this valve for the winterization. A little bit of water will squirt out of this, but I'll just hold my hand, whatever's gonna be here. Then I put the line. Where's my line? I don't know where my line is. There you go, it's right here. This is my line. The end of this hose. Okay, and I'll just put it here. Let me show you how I do it. If I can pull my cable. Hold on a second. Yeah. So, there you go. A little bit messy, but... Alright, so what I have to do is come here and basically pull this line, and that's it. This is my filter, because there's water always here, condensation. So before I use like a nail gun, I have a filter, but it doesn't matter. So now, obviously, I cannot open this guy now because it will just squirt water because everything is open. But basically, what it does, I don't have to go outside anymore because my compressor is right here. I will set up on the regular 50 psi. I'll connect this guy right here. The way I have it right now. Okay. Open the valve, obviously close this valve before, open this valve, and just on my app go from one zone to another and basically blow up the lights. Simple as that. I know when you blow up, I call the guys to winterize the sprinkler heads, you have to pay money. I don't know how much, I never use them, which caused me to actually damage my heads once. I think I lost like 2 heads, but it doesn't matter. Lesson learned. But now I can do it all by myself. So basically now I can disconnect, quick disconnect. So normally I have this closed, and that's how I basically blow up the lines. It goes right there. So this is what I want to show you before we go outside. I think it's pretty cool. Soldering wasn't bad at all. Basically bought those pieces, cut it, solder, thread it. This is the coupler that goes from, I think this is 1/2 inch if I remember correctly. I have to take a look. Yeah. So from 1/2 inch valve, ball valve, another 1/2 inch piece, and then thread from 1/2 inch to reduce to the thread, because I had to put this piece in. And then once I have this piece in, this also comes off, obviously, which I try to take it off. There you go. See here, it's basically what it is. I put 2 lines, male and female, for the air compressor, and I joined them together. Put some Teflon tape, and I have an adapter, which I can just, if I have a hand, there you go, it clicked in. That's all. It's ready. This is already ready. All I have to do is put this end and blow up the line. Very simple. I can go through the zones and just do it by myself. I don't have to extend the cables anymore. That's pretty much it. Alright, let's just go outside right now, and I will show you how this looks outside. My setup outside with the flow meter, and my rain meter is on the gutter 25 feet in the air, so I'm not gonna be able to show you that, but I will show you on my app what I bought. Let me put that back in. Alright, that's pretty handy. And that's it. That's all I have for now. Let's see what I have outside. Okay, so we are outside right now. So this is my setup. This is the water spout. I can just open it here and release water, excess water. I used to have to connect here to blow up the lines, but now I just put a valve. But it doesn't matter. What I want to show you is this puppy right here. Okay, so this is the flow meter. Right now it's not running. It's a little bit dirty. It shows 144.5 gallons. It goes from here down and to the box. I spliced it and I heat shrink it. So it's working fine. It's a little bit dirty, but it's working fine. You have 2 unions. I cut the pipe. It's a 1-inch pipe. I cut it and I put it in here. So that's how I set it up. And the second thing is, I'm gonna try to show you on the gutter. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. I'm not gonna climb the ladder, so I attach it to the gutter right there, and I put a cable all the way down here and here. This is the cable. It's like a clear cable. Okay, and I connected it. I spliced it here. The brown cable I used, I bought it at Lowe's. It's 18-2 cable, so it's very thin, it's a solid copper. And I found a little opening here, and I basically threaded. So basically on this side, on the other side of the wall, there's my controller. This pipe is the water pipe that goes inside the building, inside the house. So that's how it looks like. Pretty much it. And this is Rachio 3 app. It's a free app. You can download it iTunes or Android. Click on it It's gonna take you to the home menu. The home menu on top here, you have the calendar. It tells you more or less the weather and the schedule, which is that blue box with the drop in it. Last run, next run, schedule. Some information about the growing weeds, July usage. We're in July 2020. So 2,490 gallons. These are actuals and scheduled. Smart loans. So this is basically overview. On the bottom right, you have a quick run. So I can pick any zone I want, one or all of them, or I can group them or do whatever I want to do and basically do a quick run. Quick run is good for, let's say your schedule says that it's gonna water next Friday and you want to do it today. You don't care about next Friday, you just want to run it, so it's a quick run. Schedules, it's just a schedule. Information which I talk about it soon. So that's then you have zones. I have 8 zones, 30 heads altogether. Each zone you can take a picture and you can name it whatever you want. I gave a meaningful name. For example, this is my naming system. Z1 F3. That means zone 1 front yard, 3 heads, oak line, because there are trees, oak trees. Zone 3, 2 heads, front yard, mid lawn. Z3, zone 3, 1 front yard head, 1 head in the backyard. Zone 4, 5 heads, mid and side fence. Zone 5, backyard, 5 heads. Zone 6, 4 heads in the backyard. Zone 7, 2 heads on the front yard, 1 head on the backyard. And zone 6 sprinkler heads on the front yard, the whole yard on the other side. So I'm gonna go each up, but I'll show you at least one. You can enable, disable this zone from the schedule, so you can modify. Right now I'm showing 9.2 gallons per minute. It's for 3 sprinkler heads. Last run, next run, soil moisture. Before I go there, actually, let me click on edit. When you hit on edit, you can rename it, you can take a photo, you can establish zone type for grass rather. I'm in New Jersey, so I have cool season grass, but you can adjust trees, shrubs, and it's actually preferred to keep it per group of things you're gonna water. For example, lawn, you keep a zone. Shrubs, annuals, perennials, garden, there are different zones and different requirements. Type of the spray heads, I have rotor heads. You have fixed spray head, rotary nozzle, and then you have a drip mister, bubbler, emitter, and drip line. So you can I have all of them are same. Type of soil, from sand, loomy sand, sandy loam, clay loam, silty clay, and clay. Basically, that tells Rachio more of information, meaning how fast water is being absorbed by soil and how fast the water will evaporate, depending on the type of soil. Exposure, so you have lots of sun, some shade, lots of shade. I have lots of shade here because of the oaks, but you can set it up, and that all plays the role how often basically is being calculated, put in the big equation, how fast the water evaporates. Not how fast the water is put in, but how fast it evaporates, and then the computer would know basically how fast, how often, and for how long you have to sprinkle each zone. And obviously slope. So if you have a steep slope, you're gonna have some surface runoff, so the durations are gonna be different than slight slope or flat slope, no slope. Then you have a flow settings. So this is, you can enable flow and the auto shut off. These two are very important because the whole purpose of this is when you have a When you're watering in the middle of the night, obviously you're sleeping, you want to know if there's a low flow or high flow. So you can set up high flow and low flow parameters. So for this particular zone, when the baseline is 9.2, if I'm gonna have 4.6 or less or above 10.12, which I can adjust up and down. I can adjust here and adjust here. Then it will basically shut off the flow, and then you're gonna get a notification. So when you wake up next morning, you'll see that, let's say, zone number 1 didn't water, and then you'll see why, because there was unusually high flow. And then you try to run again and you will realize you have a busted head, a sprinkler head, or you have a broken line, or low flow when the roots are squeezing your pipe, let's say, like I had it this year. So, and then here on the bottom you can calibrate, which I can do right now, and this is how it works. It's gonna go for 2 minutes, which I'm not gonna keep you here, but basically, actually I can do it. Let me do one zone. So right now my sprinklers are actually running. It was 9.2 if I remember before. So at the beginning, the calibration, the flow is very high, but then it will adjust itself and it will find equilibrium, average. So basically that's how it is. Let's wait a minute, 30 seconds. It's 9.3. Or you can do is, you can do use current value, and it will basically take a snapshot if you want to keep that number as a baseline, or you want to actually calibrate. So right now my sprinkler heads are running outside, but it will calibrate for 2 minutes, and that's how calibration goes through all the zones. I'm not gonna go through 8 zones, 2 minutes each zone. I'm just gonna wait this one out. It's pretty cool animations, as you can see. Simple but nice. I can stop it right now if I want to, but I want to just finish this so you have an idea. And you can set up longer calibration. Shorter, I wouldn't necessarily do shorter, because as you can see at the very beginning, the flow of 13.3, whatever was at the beginning, it's unusual. It's just at the startup. So I wanna have when the sprinklers are just running normally, when all the air and trapped air or whatever, it's taken out and the sprinkler is just running. So it needs to find its own golden spots, so to speak. So before it was 9.2, maybe now it's going to be 9.5, which is slightly adjusted, but let's see what the average is going to be. Maybe it's going to be higher. And obviously that depends. If you do any adjustments to the sprinkler heads, it will adjust. Let's see there. Okay, so you went up a little bit. You can recalibrate, or you can click done, and I'm going to click done. So now it's going to update on the information. July 13, 6:51 p.m. and it's going to be my new baseline, so to speak. And you can do that through all of them, but I'm not going to show you that. Area. So area, I don't put that number in. I just draw. There's a little map that shows you your house, and then approximately you draw and you put sprinkle heads. Then that information is being inputted automatically in here. That's important because you know how many heads you have in what area, so then it knows where it is, where the sprinkler heads are located, how much to water, exposure. It knows all the information. Available water, root depth, all that you can adjust, but I just kept it as is. I didn't adjust it. So you can reset to default. So that's pretty much it on here. And then did I click on advanced? Yes, I did. Okay, so that's all the information. You can change the photo, you can change the name, whatever you like. Front yard, backyard. They are recommending to actually keep grasses together, shrubs together, but my system is set up the way it's set up, so I'm just running everywhere. Okay, so moisture went up a little bit because I just watered. So this is based on the information, type of soil, type of grass, type of roots. Basically you have depletion curve. If it goes to 50%, then it knows to that it's gonna ask for water next time. So if you go to more details, that's a lot of information. I don't really use that information at all, but you have some additional stuff which I don't necessarily use. And here, one more thing I want to show you. So you can fill it or empty it. If I press that, but I don't want to do it, basically you force to call the soil 100% or 0%. You just force it. After rain, you could do that. If something, this is like a manual override, so to speak. That's how I understand it. Okay, and this zone is on the schedule. I set up the schedules, daily flex, so you can name it however you want. I just give the name exactly to whatever type I have. So it's a daily flex. Daily flex, basically, flex daily, what it means is expert watering. It takes all the information. It's the smartest thing you could do is, and it's the most recommended, the most saving. So it's basically all the information that you inputted, location, weather, slope, grass, soil, type and whatnot, soil moisture, and all that information it will tell you. So if I water today, or let's say I had it rain, the soil is 100% or 110% if it's oversaturated, and then I wait, let's say 3 days or 5 days, depending on the weather, if it's hotter or cooler, depending on the soil type, zone, grass, shade, and whatnot, the water depletion will be faster or slower. And then next time around, it may start in 2 days or may start in 5 days. If it's gonna rain, it's gonna skip. So basically, you're saving water by doing that. Fix is just fix regular. It's more predictable. Flex monthly, it's a smart and predictable, but automatic update each month. This one, they flex daily. It's adjusted daily. Daily it takes analysis of all the conditions in soil, all the weather conditions, all conditions in grass, shade, and whatnot, exposure, and then it skips or not the watering. So I'm sorry, I skipped one. So the interval, I set up baseline for 3 days, but then again, it will be adjusted, it's shifted accordingly. It may skip some days if it's raining or if it's still wet. So here, that's why I called it meaningful names of each zone, because I don't have pictures here, so I just have to remember. So that's, for example, I know zone 4, it's backyard, CZ4, B4, B5. I know it's because I cannot put too long name because it's gonna truncate it. I'm not gonna see anything out of it. So I have to put a name labeling system. So I'm gonna be familiar with it, and I'm gonna always remember if I go through different menus here. So zone 4, for example, it's a backyard. Okay, it's 5 heads, and it's a mid and side fence. Now I know exactly what it is, and you can check and uncheck whatever you want to add to the schedule. You can group it. Bushes, flowers, garden, lawn, and you can create each separate schedule for each separate type of things you're gonna water. I have one set up, but that's me. Okay, end of sunrise, so end before sunrise is recommended, but you can do anytime you want. The reason it's recommended is before, so it calculates, let's say I have 8 zones, 30 minutes on average for everywhere. So it would do 3 hours, let's say. With soak time, whatever, it could be 3.5 hours. So what it does is it will back calculate when it has to start, and it knows, depending on the season, when the sun goes up and down, when you have a sunrise and sunset, so they will adjust accordingly. So obviously the sun goes down, you have a sunset at different time in March and different time in July and different time in November. So you adjust itself. So basically you don't have to fight with your sprinkler system to take a shower in the morning. So basically when you get up, depending when you get up for work, you're done with watering. But you can start at the sunset, you have end before the specific time, you can set it up and whatnot. But I have the recommended selection, which is end before sunrise. Basically I want to be done with watering at night, during the night, and when I wake up for work, I don't want to deal with it. It's just done. Plus it's better because you don't want to water in the mid heat in July in midday, because that's not good for grass. I think it's better based on, I read many articles, I think it's better, but there are different schools of thought. Better to obviously water either early at night or late afternoon, but I'm sticking to the night, meaning just finish before so the water will have time to absorb. Roots will have plenty of time to basically absorb water before the heavy sun is gonna hit it. Okay, so that's times, duration. This is when you can adjust your durations. You can adjust overall duration here on top. And the reason I'm changing this and then I'll adjust and then it still shows 2.59 is because of the soak time. Remember I told you about soak time? Soak time, basically what it is, and I'm gonna talk about it later. It allows water to go inside the soil, so the roots have time to absorb it. So for example, if zone 1, front yard, 3 heads, I have oak line, that's so I know where it is. I have 30 minutes. You may water for 10 minutes, wait 5 minutes, then water for another 10 minutes, wait for 5 minutes, basically stops. The water will just sink in, and then finally 10 minutes, final 10 minutes. So what it does between the soak time intervals, it splits basically by itself, because you don't want to over water it and you're going to have a surface runoff. Then you're going to just waste water. You're just going to dump everything on the sidewalk or on the street. You want to basically allow soil to absorb it, sink in, and then add more, and then wait a little bit, and then add more. I just got a text message, but it doesn't matter. So that's how it works. Duration. So here, like I said, my zone 3, I'm running only for 10 minutes because it's behind the house and it's overlapped anyway, so I don't have to run more than that. And then even if I put 30 minutes and 10 minutes and 20 minutes everywhere, it will still adjust itself as needed. So zone 1, if it's rainy and it's not too much sun, it will just run for 10 minutes, let's say, or 17 minutes or 29 minutes. Or whatever it needs to run for to get where it needs to get. So it's basically smart control. You just set up initial value, start, and basically that's basic. And this is the cycle. I already explained what the cycle is. I put the recommended, which is the smart cycle. I'm allowing to soak. I'm not going to do manual because I'm not going to wake up at 3 a.m. to play with it. I just want to let it run. And then weather, skip freeze and skip wind. So if it's too windy or too cold, it's just going to skip it. And again, I'm connected to the rain sensor and freeze sensor, so you will know where to do it. So that's pretty much it when you have on the schedules. Let me go back. Okay, so this is all inside of one zone under the schedule. So total usage, gallons saved. I have 0 because up to this point I've been playing with the cables and playing with the setup and disconnecting and connecting, so I didn't actually run yet because it's been raining every other day almost, so it's been either skipping or right now that's my setup like that. Okay, so then you have a calendar. So right now it's July 13, 2020, and we have here, so for example, if I go to the old schedule, July 8th, what happened here? See, it ran, then I have some daily flex smart soak. I had a quick run because I was testing something. Maybe there was some rain, but it was only 0.01 of an inch. Let's see what happened here. Here, see, look at that. Okay, I did the quick runs. So, and again here, I'm gonna have on 15, assuming it's not gonna rain, I'm gonna run the full schedule. But look, zone 1 is gonna skip because it doesn't need it. And zone 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's it. It's gonna soak time for 15 minutes all throughout, and then it's gonna run all together with everything for 2 hours and 27 minutes. But I can skip that run if I don't want to rain. There's a 6% of chance of rain, which at this point will be 0 inches. But if something changes, it will be cloudy, partially cloudy. But if something changes, it will adjust. This is pretty cool. It's pretty smart. And also I can hit here the orange water delay. Water delay basically is I am forcing to delay for an hour. Let's say run. So that's what it is. Thrive. This is I don't use this. They're trying to sell some product for weeds and control, so I don't use it. All right, and now I'm gonna show you more, but I'm gonna skip it a little bit because I have my address there, and I don't want you to see all the information, but I will show you what I can. All right, stick with me. I'm gonna try to play with it. So under more, you have schedules, which we already talked about. That's one thing. You have flow notifications. If there's a high flow or low flow, it will indicate here. Like I said, I was playing with the cable, so right now I have no notifications, but it will be right here. You have a history. So the history shows you what was completed, when it was calibrated. See, I just did a quick run a few minutes ago, and then that's basically, see, I have some rain, activated, deactivated. Sensor was raining, so sensor went on and off. So that's pretty much it here. So you have under history. Shared access, you can add another family member to this setup, so they don't have to set it up by themselves. You can just share the setup with them. You have account information, profile notifications, so if you want to have notifications, units and stuff like that. Notifications, you basically send either a push notification or email. Skip weather, season and shift, so all that information. And you have control settings, and you name it, where you live, weather intelligence, that's where you pick your stations, and this is where you set up your rain skip, half inch, because I have half inch on the orbit. I have the wind skip for 20 miles per hour, because if it's too windy, it's gonna blow on the street or my neighbor lawn. And then you have a free skip, which I match to what's in the specs on the unit itself, on the orbit unit, which is the rain meter. So that I just match. So here you can either use the weather stations, 300,000 plus weather stations, or you can get a local weather station. I am using the weather station network, because if the rain is coming from north, south, east, or west, you won't basically know what it's coming and that it's approaching, instead of one local station from the single location, because that could be inaccurate, even if it's close by. I mean, so I think this gives me better, in my opinion. Okay, so still under control settings, you have Ssl Accessories. If you click here, sensor N1, this is your rain sensor, and you're connecting it to you can enable or disable, and you just pick what kind of sensor it is. And remember, you connect it to S1 and minus, and then the flow sensor, it's connected to S2, and it's connected to S2 and minus, not plus, minus. So that's what it is. And then you can specify here flowmeter, Everydrop. You actually pick up from the menu whatever you have. You just you don't have to do any offsets or K values, K factor, coefficients. You just enter it and it already knows. If I want to calibrate flow, I can click that, and then I can calibrate 2 minutes to wherever I want, or it will basically calibrate every single zone, and I'll just skip to another. So that's in the accessories. And then you have the brightness. This is the brightness of the unit. You can turn off on your Rachio 3 the glow. You can turn it off or low or normal. Minimize water hammer. That's basically what it means is if you hear banging the pipes, like, that means basically you have a water hammer. Water hammer, what it means is basically the shift between the zones, or starting or stopping, it's too violent, so to speak. So you want a gradual transition between zones. So if I turn this on, which I have it on, so basically if I'm running zone 1, it's running, all right? And then when the zone 2 is about to start, about 10 seconds from when it's supposed to start, zone 2, you will actually start zone 2 10 seconds earlier to push some water inside the zone 2. So when the zone 1 is finishing, zone 2 already has some water in it, and when the zone 1 is done, you have full pressure in the zone 2 already. So there's like some 10-second overlap between zone 1 and 2, and zone 2 and 3, and 3 and 4, and so on and so forth. So basically pushes some water, so that transition between zone 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, it's not such that you just turn on and off, on and off. That creates the banging, the pipe, the hammer, water hammer. So it's just a smoother transition. Advanced wiring, this is, I have master valve, so that's why I connect the cable to M. I also have a pump, secretly I'll tell you, but it's not connected yet. I basically I dug myself a well. So that's gonna be a separate video when I finish that work. And I'm planning to have a rain storage and deep water well storage. It's not deep well, it's a shallow well, but well water, and basically store in the 55 gallon drums. And I'm gonna pipe it up, and then I'm gonna connect it. And basically the idea is that first couple minutes I can run for free, so to speak, because the water I'm gonna expel, I'm gonna catch it later on into the pump, and I have a shallow well pump, and I can put it back up to the gallons, and I can use one another. So I can set up another schedule when I can control the valve, and I can assign that on every other day, because my water, it doesn't recover that quickly. Well, what I noticed, but the water is there all year long. So basically I dug a well through my sump pump pit, and I put a 6-inch casing, and I went about 20 feet down in the basement, even down lower, so I'm about 25 feet down, or more or less, maybe less. So I would say maybe 20 feet. And I put slits in the thing, and I put a cap on the bottom, and I put a very 5-inch pump of top discharge. But again, this is a separate video. It's not connected yet, so there will be a separate when I connected it. I'm not ready with it yet, so I will basically play with that. But that's the idea. Flow settings. So this is when you have the flow check if there's problems with the valves or whatever. And will give you pressure time and settle time. Technical info. That's basic it. That's pretty much it. There's also a section which I didn't show you, but shows you the map. Shows you the map of your area, and you can draw, you can add. So I'm not gonna show you that because my address is there, but basically you can draw on the map. Is just a Google satellite image of your property, and you can draw zones. And then you can add sprinkle heads. Once you draw all the zones, you calculate the area for each zone. It doesn't have to be to 3 decimal places, guys. It's just basically give an idea. So you know you have 3 heads or 2 heads per 2,000 square feet or 3,000 square feet, and it basically feeds that information. So it's more information to it. Okay, let me check if there's anything else. Nope, that's pretty much it. I showed you pretty much everything. And I hope you like this video. Overall, I like the unit. I didn't play with it for that long. Like I said, today's July. I bought on the Father's Day, so I got $50 discounts. That's why I jumped on it. It's a great value. Maybe I'll do like a catch up video after a year of use. The flow meter is good, and the rain meter, it's perfect. So it works for my setup. And again, I'm showing you what I did. Remember, this video is for entertaining purposes only. Please be careful around electricity. I cannot take any responsibility for what you guys are doing. I have experience. I've been doing for quite some time. I have enough knowledge and training. I am an engineer by trade, so I don't do that for a living, but this is just my a separate hobby, so to speak. So besides my regular day-to-day activities, so I have experience and expertise to do what I'm doing. If you guys don't know, don't touch it. But like I said, setup is fairly easy. You shouldn't have any problems. Please like, subscribe, share this video. Please hit the notification bell and comment. Give me some comments. And again, I'm gonna be stitching for the first time this clips together, so I apologize if something's not quite, I didn't explain. You can always ask me a question. And again, I'm doing this for fun. I really don't make money on it. That's not my intention. My intention is to educate, show what I have, what works for me. It may not work for you because you may have different imagination how you want the system to operate. I'm just showing you what I did, and I'm telling you how I did it with the wiring, what I have to go through, because nobody will tell you that when you purchase it, unless you connect it and what you have to go through. I'm telling you. So that's all, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you.